and on Ravelry, and I welcome you to my home today. It is Saturday, it's the last Saturday in January. I can't believe January is almost over already. It's crazy. Today we'll do a couple things. We're going to look at some finished objects. I do have some finished objects today. I have some works in progress, and I think, I know I'm going to start a new knit along this week to kind of give myself some encouragement. And then we'll do some chatter. I also think that I'm going to try today to go out and do I'll have some video at the end of a couple of things. There was a storm, and then I'm also going to try to give you some more video of Marblehead. I'll just do a walk around Marblehead this afternoon, so I think I'm going to try to add that in at the end as well. So let's get started. Finished objects. This one I showed you the last time, but I have blocked it, and I corrected the error that I had mentioned that I had made the last time. So this is For the Love of Spiders by Melanie Berg, and here it is. Put pictures up on Instagram where I blocked it out on my mother-in-law's laundry line in the backyard, which is a great tip. It works great if the weather is nice. I could use the bed to pin things out on here, but boy, especially for something like this, it's not curved or anything, it's just a triangle, so it was really a great way to do it. And there are pictures on Instagram of it hanging and flapping in the wind, but it really worked very, very well. So here it is, finally. It's all finished and blocked this time. Yeah, and you can't see that little mistake anymore. Yeah. So the mistake, I don't even remember where I had done it. The last time on the podcast I mentioned there are a lot of slip stitches in this, and that's what creates this design with the two colors here. And it's great. It's a wonderful, wonderful pattern. I really enjoyed doing it. But it's one of those things where if you forget, you're moving the yarn in front and in back in different places. And if you forget to move it in the front, you really miss one of the design elements. And there was one row where I had done it correctly on one side. I probably maybe was off one stitch or something, but when this was finished, you could see that there was a gap where there should have been some blue in there. Your eye really couldn't tell what the problem was, but you knew that you should have had a little bit of blue in a particular area on here. So I went ahead and blocked it, and then I fixed that problem. And all I did was just take some of this blue yarn, and I just ran it, just a running stitch. I went in and out, and it looked exactly as if it was a yarn over and just a yarn forward and in front of the stitch. So, really it's just knitting. It really was not a tragedy, and it was easy to fix. And it was easy to fix when at the end, which is really, really nice. So this came out great though. I've already worn it to work one day, and it was really super warm and comfy. Beautiful, beautiful. This is yarn that I purchased from Foster Sheep Farm, Carol. This is kind of a soulful stash yarn where I know the sheep, I know the shepherdess, I know the farm owner, and I know where the yarn was processed, and I know this right from the ground up, so to speak. So this was very special. I purchased this from Carol at Rhinebeck specifically for the Love of Spiders, and it's just beautiful, soft, gorgeous, squishy yarn, and I couldn't be more pleased, and I really enjoyed knitting this project quite a bit. This was one of those projects where I had other things to do, but I really kept reaching for this one when I was knitting it. So that's usually that's a sign of a good pattern, a good design, a good knitting design. It kind of keeps you wanting to go further, certainly with the changes in the color, as long as you don't make mistakes. But we can fix those. It's just knitting. So this is my first project. I'm very, very happy with it, and I've been wearing it already, so I'm really pleased with this one. The second one, as I have mentioned before, I'm working in Boston now, so I have probably maybe an hour or 45-minute commute in the morning. I know people are horrified by that, but it really isn't so bad. Part of it's on a bus, and part of it is on the T, and I usually get to school early enough so I can grab a cup of coffee. So it's fine. I'm not driving. I'm not dealing with Boston traffic, which is a whole other thing. So it really works out very, very well for me. And the first portion of my of my commute is on the bus, and I'm usually the first or the second person to get on the bus, so there's plenty of room. So I usually knit during that period of time. So I knit socks, usually socks, because it's just an easy thing to take along and fairly mindless. So I probably will have a lot of socks done this year, which is really great. So I finished my Christmas Eve cast on socks from Danny, the Little Bobbins podcast. It was really fun. But these are the Sanderson Sisters socks by my friend Sarah Losey, who lives nearby, actually. And this is a great little pattern. Not little pattern, it's a great pattern. It's simple enough, but really has some nice texture in here. So it goes really well with, I think, with this self-striping yarn. You know, you can just do a plain vanilla sock, but I have a hard time with plain vanilla socks. I know people just like to do them, but I really find I really slow down on those because I just get bored. There's not really enough interest for me. I really need to have a little something. And I know a lot of yarn doesn't lend itself to doing patterning on it too much, but this was a really nice one. So this is Desert Vista Dye Works yarn as well. This was a special skein that I bought, and intending to save them for my Christmas Eve cast on, and I think I really like the way this came out. But anyway, this pattern is great. The patterning on it mirrors each other. So on one side it's on the right side of the sock, and on the other it's on the left side of the sock. And I always modify sock patterns, but these I did toe up with the Fish Lips Kiss heel, and then the cuff at the at the end. So that way I can always try them on. I know right where to put my heel. It's just kind of my recipe for socks, and I really like them. I think this pattern is actually written from the cuff down, and I think Sarah's actually in the process of updating it, so she's putting it together with a toe-up option as well. Again, I really don't find it that difficult, because if if you've knit enough socks over the years, not for someone who's knitting socks for the first time, but if you've knit socks enough over the years, you really you know the number of stitches that fit your foot, you know the kind of heel that you want. So that's really what I end up doing. And so I will purchase sock patterns, but I don't necessarily knit them word for word all the time. I usually am purchasing them for the particular pattern that it gives you. So I do my toe, and then I switch to the patterning from the pattern on the top. I do my own heel, usually the Fish Lips Kiss heel, and then I'll do the patterning again on the leg. And that's just what works for me. It doesn't work for everyone, but it works for me. I'm very pleased with these socks. I think they're great, and I can't wait to wear them. I was waiting to show them on the podcast, but I'll wear them this week now. So really happy about these. Let's see. And my third project, I'm going to call it a finished object. I know technically it's not, and you're going to say it's not finished yet, but you'll see what I mean. So this is I don't think I showed this last time. I think I actually forgot about it. This is the Cozy Schlanket Mystery Knit Along that Mina Phillip put together, the Knitting Expat. I really enjoyed this. This is a really fun pattern. And you can see what I'm talking about. It has an I-cord bind off, and this is all I have left to bind off. I almost finished it this morning, but we went out to breakfast and I just didn't have time. But this will be finished today. This is going to be called done today. So I really like this. This was really fun. I think it came out in four or five clues? But it's knit in worsted weight yarn, and I really have a love of worsted weight shawls. I mean, the range is a worsted weight shawl. I forget. I like doing fingering weight shawls, and those are really pretty and wonderful, and you can do some beautiful lace. But for sheer warmth and just coziness, I really like the worsted weight. Plus, it goes much faster because the yarn is obviously is a bigger weight, larger. It's worsted weight instead of fingering weight. And I love the colors. This yarn is where did I put it? I think it's Encore. I had it here anyway. This is Encore Tweed, I believe. But anyway, I bought it at Marblehead Knits, which is right down the street here, my local yarn shop. And I just really liked these colors. You needed to have 3 colors for this, so I thought these went really well together. Very fall, autumnal. So this will be great in the fall. I mean, it'll be great in the winter, but this will be really pretty when next fall, when it starts to just get cold enough where you want to wrap up in something. But I really like it. I think this came out great. And again, it's big. It wraps around you. It's going to keep you warm and comfy and cozy. And it goes fast because it's knit on larger needles in worsted weight yarn. And I really enjoyed the pattern. There's really some really interesting patterning going on. And, a lot of it is just stockinette or garter stitch. It's got the I-cord bind off at the end, which again is nothing, it's not difficult, but it really, I think it puts a nice edging on a piece. And it just really kind of ties everything together because it gives you that rounded piece on the bottom, so there's no rolling when you have the I-cord bind off. So yeah, I'm really pleased with this. I think this came out great, and I'm calling it done because it's going to be done. It's going to be done today. I'm really looking forward to having that. So super pleased with all of those. And now let's move on to some works in progress. Progress. What do I have going? I have a few. Don't we all? Don't we all have a few? The first thing I think that I will show you is the socks I have on the go. Since I finished the Sanderson Sisters socks, I have a new pair of socks going. And this is a pattern that I've made before. It's called the Bellatrix sock pattern, and it is by Monkey Toes. And these are all free. These are free patterns. She has quite a few Harry Potter themed patterns that are on Ravelry, and they're free. And I really enjoy them. But these are really great. If you can see these, this is a slipped and dropped stitch pattern. So they're perfect. I love the color of this yarn, and I love the pattern. So this is the top of the foot, and then there's the back. Hard to see in this light, but it's super fun to do. You knit basically. It's a 4-row repeat. Well, it's an 8-row repeat because you move the slip stitches over, but you're basically knitting a row, and then the next row you, for example, you do a yarn over, you knit one, you do 2 yarn overs, you knit one, you do 3 yarn overs, you knit one, you do 2 yarn overs, you knit one, and you do 1 yarn over, and then the next round on the sock you drop those yarn overs. So it just makes a really fun pattern, and it's very Bellatrix, very Bellatrix, and so those drop stitches then kind of puff out, and they're really fun. This will make a little bit of a looser sock. So these were socks probably, I would wear them to work, but they might just be kind of around the house, kind of knock around socks, because of the drop stitches will make them a little bit looser. They're not going to really pull in to your foot, but that's great. I think they're really fun. They'll be a little bit slouchy. And like I said, I've made this pattern before, and I really enjoyed it the first time around. These I will be entering into the Victorian Studio podcast. Maureen is having a year-long Harry Potter knit along, so these will qualify for that. So I've always wanted to, as I said, I've made this pattern before, and I really thought I would go back to it because it will fit. And again, perfect bus knitting. So I'm really happy with these. So I think I started this week, so I'm already past the heel, so it won't take me too long. I bet I'll finish these socks this week. I'll probably start the second one. So I might have, I might be going through 2 to 3 weeks of a pair of socks, which is that's really great. I may need to get some more sock yarn. Anyway, I'm really happy with those. Those are really pretty. I'm really liking the way those are coming out. The second thing, I did a little bit of work. I was able actually to go to my knitting group, not this past week, but the week before. I have to work some nights, not too late. Some nights, depending upon the week, I work up until 6, and if I do that, I get home a little later, and just not really able to make it out to my knitting group. But I was able to go 2 weeks ago, and I was working on another project for the Victorian Studio podcast, Harry Potter Knit Along. And this is a sock head hat. So, and this is using O Loops yarn. It's the Helga Hufflepuff colorway, which is really cool. I love it. I just love it. And I think everyone has done one of these hats at some point or another. But I really love it. It always comes out. You're like, this is not going to fit over anybody's head, but because it's a ribbing, it's so stretchy. So it certainly fits. And I probably have I maybe have another inch of ribbing to go, and then it's just stockinette in the, it's just knitting in the round. and it makes a slouchy hat until you want to do some of the decreases for the top of the hat, and then you're done. This will probably end up being a gift, so I'm all about that. Get some of those hat gifts done early on, but I'm really enjoying this. This is really fun. Fun knitting, just kind of as like a little palette cleanser if you don't want to. You've been doing too many intense lace knitting or pattern knitting, and you want just something kind of fun to hang out. The sock head hat is a great one to do. So I'm working on that. I'm very enjoying that very, very much. The next one that I have been working on, and this next one, I'm surprised that I like it so much. I thought, looking at the pattern, that it was going to be fairly intense, and it is. It's not really intense. The pattern has lots of pages to it. It's one of those patterns, but it's really beautiful. It's called The Yellow Roses by Clothesline Designs, and it was gifted to me by Yarn to Woman. I think I had mentioned the last time. Clothesline Design had, I think it was a brother who had issues with mental health, and actually maybe he committed suicide. He lost his battle, she says, with mental health issues. So this was kind of in commemoration of her brother, and talking about just the awareness of mental health. So I was gifted this pattern, so I really wanted to knit it up, and it's just gorgeous. Now, of course, some of the gorgeousness is also due to the yarn, which is dyed by the lovely Kayleen of Little Bean Crochets, and she just does beautiful work. She's local to me. She lives right here in Marblehead, so I'm super lucky to have her. But look at the color. Just look at this color. It's so gorgeous. It's like a dark and stormy night, and it's just, oh, it's gorgeous. It's super gorgeous. And now you can actually see where the roses are coming in. So you can see the pattern starting, which is, and it's you know, it looks very complex, but it's really not, because each of these you can see, like one in the middle. This is one repeat. So on the first section you're doing one, the second section you're doing 3 of those, the next you're doing 4 or 5, however that works, up to I forget, maybe 5 or 6 of these across, and then the rest is just knitting back and forth, stockinette. So really, it's just going to be gorgeous. I'm so happy with this, and I'm really pleased. The lace is not complicated. First I looked at it, I said, oh, that looks like it's going to be kind of a complicated one. There are some, of those like knit 3 together through the back loop, but because of the needle size that you're using and it's fingering weight yarn, I'm not a tight knitter, so those are not an issue for me. But it's gorgeous. I'm really happy with this. I think it's going to come out really beautifully, and I just love the yarn. I think it's a really nice choice. I think it's beautiful, and I'm enjoying every time I pick it up. So thank you, Kayleen. Thank you, Melinda. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful pattern, beautiful yarn. And of course, the last project that I have been working on. Oh, where'd it go? I can't lose this one. So this is my Bruntsfield vest, or my Rhinebeck vest. Gonna give myself plenty of time to finish this. So here we go. So I've actually been working quite a bit on this. I've been trying to take some time on the weekends and just give myself an hour or two to kind of work through it. And here it is. It's my beautiful Fair Isle vest. This is the Bruntsfield vest by Isolde Teague. So it's going to be a vest, sleeveless vest, and it's steeped in the middle and on the armholes. We'll deal with that when I get there. But it's really coming out really beautiful. This is the project. I spent a lot of time swatching for the colors that I wanted to use. These are not the colors in the pattern. She has very light heathery colors, which are beautiful, but I kind of wanted some stronger colors, so this is what I have chosen. So now I've gotten through this. This is one whole repeat of a pattern, and then I'm on to the second one, and these sections just move over a little bit, but it's basically the same pattern, and I'm really loving it. I think it's really coming out great. If you can see the Fair Isle. And you can actually see how it looks in the back. So this is what the back of Fair Isle looks like. So you've got the floats going along. Fair Isle, if you remember, you're only using, if you've never done it before, you're only using 2 colors in any one row. So no more than 2 colors. The colors usually change each row, so one of the colors will change, or maybe both of them. So it's really not, it's, I know Sophia always makes fun of me, but it's just, you know, it's just color work. It's just Fair Isle. It's not too bad. I think I put a video up, video tutorial up in the last podcast on thread on Ravelry that just has a link to a video by Fruity Knitting Podcast. She does gorgeous color work, and she has a video and she shows her technique on how to do it. Everybody does it a little differently depending upon whether you're a continental knitter or you're an English knitter. I basically am English, so I'm a thrower, but when I do Fair Isle, I'll do one hand. My left hand I'll be doing continental, and with my right hand I'll be throwing. So I use two hands. Some people just use one hand to do Fair Isle. The two-handed seems to work for me. It goes pretty quickly, and the tension that I have is good enough. You have to be careful with Fair Isle when you're doing it, not to pull too tightly, because then the yarn, the pattern will pucker, and you won't be able to block it out because the floats will be too tight in the back. So it's just something to be aware of. But this is going to block out perfectly. It's going to be really, really interesting. How well the steeks look when I get to that point, we'll see. But I'm really happy and I'm really enjoying this, and I love all the encouragement. Thank you everybody for encouraging me to keep on going with this. And as I said, this is my plan for Rhinebeck for next October. So I'm giving myself plenty of time to get this done. So I think that will not be a problem. But I'm very, very happy with the progress so far. And then I have been doing some spinning. Let's see. Grab a couple of pieces here. This is the first one. I posted this on Instagram. This is very, very pretty. This is fiber from Australia, and it is just gorgeous. I love the colors. So I split this in half, and the first half I'm spinning from the top to the bottom. I didn't split the colors up at all, so I'm just going to go ahead and spin these so each of my bumps is exactly the same from the first color to the next. So the single is striping based on those colors. The second half I'm going to prepare, but I'm going to split those. I'll be doing the strips and then splitting the strips and then just kind of letting that fall. So what will happen is it won't be totally striped, but there will be parts in here where the colors will suddenly match, and so that's really kind of, I think, I should look this up, but I think it's called like a fractal spin. So you're not going to do, it won't stripe completely. Some of it will barber pole, but then some of it will be exactly the same. So it will look really, really, really pretty and really, really interesting. This is the kind of thing where I'll probably will do a hat or maybe a cowl out of when I finish, but it's just beautiful and gorgeous, and I really like I like spinning colors like this. It's kind of, it's the same as knitting them. You just want to get to the next color and see what that looks like. But I'm really enjoying this quite a bit. I love it. And the second spinning that I'm doing is I'm planning to knit later this year when I finish the spinning a Hansel or a half Hansel. It's a hap by Gudrun Johnson, and I was also gifted that pattern as well. And I've been planning on doing this, and I really want to make the hap that I do. I want to spin all the yarn for it, which is, so I don't think that I've actually done. I have done socks that I've spun for, but I've never done a planned project like this that I really spun for, where I have to do different colors and kind of think about the amount of yarn that I have. Hopefully, I'll have enough. But this is my first bobbin, and so this is actually 4 ounces spun up in a single. So here it is. This is beautiful. It's a beautiful brown. It's almost a camel brown color in real life, and it is lovely. It is Romney and Merino, 50% Romney, 50% Merino, and it's from Foster Farm in Schuylerville, New York. So this is Carol Sheep once again, and this is gorgeous. So this will be my main color for the hat, and so I've done 4 ounces, and I have another 4 ounces to go. So this is what it looks like when it comes. It's pencil roving, so you don't have to prep it very much. You can just really just spin from it right here. So I have another 4 ounces to go, so I have to start this, and then I will I'm going to apply those together, and so that should be quite a bit of yarn, and that should be enough for the half, for the main color and the half hands, the half hap. And then I have I need some accent colors in it as well. I've already spun up one. This was another bump of fiber. This is not dyed, it's just natural colored fiber. Anyway, and so this will be one of my accent colors in the hat. And then I also purchased at Rhinebeck, I purchased again from Carol, from the Foster Sheep Farm. This actually is 100% Romney Wensleydale. And this is 4 ounces, so this will be enough for an accent color. But look at this, isn't it beautiful? It's reds and it's got little bits of gray in it, so I think this is going to be really, really pretty. So, you know, along with this color and along with this color, I think this will make a really nice one. I think I might need one more. I don't remember from the pattern whether I'll need one more accent color or not. I don't necessarily need to. You can always just kind of mix and match your colors. But I think this will be really just a beautiful, beautiful Shetland hat, or hat. Depending upon how much yarn I actually have to use. So I've been enjoying this, and I'm looking forward to getting it done. And this is an ongoing project, so this will be later in the year that I'll finally get knitting on it. But very, very pleased with that, how that's coming out. So now let's move on to the knit along. Let's start a new knit along in the group. It'll be for socks, but what I'd like to do is have it be for socks that are a little bit of a challenge. Now, I've told you that I really like to just do socks with my pattern. Toe up, just do the pattern, fish lips, kiss heel, and a cuff. And I do that all the time. Fits really well. I really enjoy it. It's easy. I don't have to think about it too much, and the interest is in whatever pattern that I'm doing for the foot or the leg. However, the last time we had a knit-along prize, I sent the prize out, and the prize winner was Carrie, Girl in Knots, and she so kindly, it was not necessary, so kindly gifted me a pattern from my wish list, and the pattern is called the Legolas Socks, and this is the pattern. And, sorry. If you can see this in the shine, but this is a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous sock pattern. Gorgeous. It's knit top from the cuff down. Now, I used to do those. I shouldn't say I've never done cuff down socks before, but this has cables that wind around the entire sock. It has patterning that kind of tilts and comes back again, and it is just gorgeous. And it's one of those patterns, you know, when I first saw it, I don't even know how many years ago, I've had it on my wish list. The socks are by the pattern's by Claire Ellen as well, so I'll link that for you. But gorgeous, gorgeous socks. And I have some of this, also beautiful fingering weight, and I don't remember, I got this yarn a long, long time ago. I don't remember what it is, but it's really beautiful. It's more of a rust color. This is kind of bright on the camera, but it's more of a rust color. And I really have plenty. I was using this for another project, and it just wasn't going well, so I ripped it out. So I have this, and this is perfect yarn. And this pattern, because I mean this pair of socks, because there's so much patterning in it, you really need to use a plain type of yarn. You don't want to use a variegated yarn or anything like that. Maybe a tonal at the most, but because you really want the pattern to be what you see when you do this kind of sock. So I'm going to use this yarn and that sock pattern. So this is going to be a challenge for me. These are not going to be bust knitting socks at all, because I'm going to have to concentrate on them. I haven't actually pulled up the pattern or printed it out, but I'm assuming that there are several charts, or a chart. There are probably a lot of charts that go along with this, so this will be something I'll have to concentrate on. But I thought that it would be a nice opportunity. Again, it's just a fun thing to do. So if you have a pair of socks maybe that you've been thinking about doing or saving because they they might be a little bit difficult or a little bit challenging. Maybe there's something in them a technique you've never done before. Maybe you've never knit socks before, and even an easy vanilla pair of socks would be a first challenge for you. So choose a pair that you might think would be give you some type of challenge, and you can, when you finish them, you can tell me what the challenge was about them. And I'll set up a chatter thread and a finished object thread, and this will be not a long term, but I think probably I'll say at least February and March, and we'll see where we all are at the end of March, where I am at the end of March. Maybe we'll extend it out again. So I will set it up, and I'll set it up right now for February and March, and we'll see where we are at the end of March. I don't have any prizes yet, but I'll put something together and put that up on the Ravelry thread for it. I just need some companionship on this journey. I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, I could use some companionship on it. So let's do it along. Hey, so what's been happening? What about a little chatter today? I think the first thing I'd like to show you, let's reach over here on the table in front of me. I have purchased a copy of Rib magazine right here, which is it's a really nice magazine. This is put out by Devin of the Handmade in Woolen podcast. They do the podcast. He does the podcast together with his wife Jenny, Tiny Paper Foxes. And this is a beautiful magazine. And what the magazine is really it's men's knits for men. So it's really put together some pattern. They put together some patterns that they felt would really be appealing to men who knit, or women who knit for men. So it's really just a gorgeous magazine. They have some lovely patterns in here, and I think that I would like to knit up this pattern here. It's called the Metropolitan Hat and Cowl. I probably I'm planning on just the hat. This is another one, potential Christmas gift for next year. Getting these done early, it's great. But anyway, this is the hat here. This is designed by Mina Phillips, the Knitting Expat, once again, and it really spoke to me. I really like it. It's a simple rib pattern, but then it has a beautiful texture pattern in it as well. And what I was thinking, because I wasn't sure, I have leftover from the Love of Spiders, so I have this darker blue color, and I was also gifted by the lovely Tanya Beezy Mama with this lovely skein of Harrisville Designs New England Shetland wool. It's really beautiful. I think this is an very interesting yarn, because as I sit here feeling it, it feels kind of hard. It's kind of crunchy. It's not really itchy, so that's very interesting. But so what I have heard, or what I understand, is once this is knit up and washed, it all of a sudden blooms and becomes this gorgeous, beautiful, soft yarn. So I'm really looking forward to it. I've never had the opportunity to knit with Harrisville Designs, so I'm really looking forward to this. I didn't know what to do with this yarn, so what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to do that hat, and I'm going to pair these two together. So I might do the brim with this leftover yarn here, and then do the main part of the hat with this. And I think this will be, the colors are more muted than they're showing up on the camera right now, but I really think that they're going to be really beautiful together, and I'm looking forward to trying this. Like I said, I've always wanted to. I just have never had the opportunity, and now that I have the yarn, this is what I'm going to do. So this is an upcoming knit. Not quite sure when I will cast this on, but fairly soon, within the next month or so, definitely. Because I'm really interested in looking, and I've been walking past my basket and going, what should I do with this? And then, I was revisiting the Rib magazine. I had it, looked at it, liked the designs, and then I've gone back to it. I'm like, I think maybe this might work for that. So that's an upcoming thing. And again, Rib magazine, I really like it. It's a lovely magazine. The second magazine that I have that maybe not everyone is familiar with is called the Amiruso magazine, and it is a Japanese knitting magazine. I think does this mean squirrel, Sarah, Sophia? I think that's what it means, because there's a squirrel in here. That's what that word means, I think, in Japanese. Oh dear. Hopefully I'm right. But anyway, this is beautiful. Amirusu it's been out for a few years. It was originally just an online magazine, and then they began to do hardcover print. So you can see it online, and you can purchase the patterns individually. You can purchase them on Ravelry. But now on Etsy, they have, you can actually purchase a hard copy of the magazine, which is lovely. And I purchased a year subscription, so it comes out once a quarter. So I get four quarters. And I think this is the second one, so I still have 2 more to go. But this one, this just came out, and it is based on, they have all patterns that are inspired by Iceland. So it's really nice. I've always liked their aesthetic. I know I've said this before. I really like their aesthetic. It's very simple lines, not simple projects, but lovely lines in them. Paper, they have lovely articles. And everything is it's written in English and in Japanese. So it's just really super unique. So here's a cowl and a hat pattern in color work. They have a lovely, let's see. This is the pattern that really stood out to me. Now it's very dark. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see this, but it's just a lovely A-line sweater, but it has some texturing in it. It's called the Minimo, and it's by Alice Catano. And here's a little better picture of it. This is something that I would really be drawn to knitting. So I may get some yarn and cast that on at some point in time. But that's really beautiful. They have a beautiful pair of socks in here, and it's just one of those. I really like this type of magazine. It's kind of new now. This is kind of the in thing, but the texture, the paper stock is harder. I like the size of it because you can kind of tuck this in your bag, and it's not gonna. It's the heavy stock isn't really gonna get folded or get crunched up. Just lovely pictures, lovely articles, and I really enjoy it. This is actually Amirusu. This is the one where they have a store in Kyoto called Walnut, and the original location was this tiny little place. And when Sophia was in Osaka for school her junior year, she and her friend went on a trip to Kyoto, and they went and sought out this store, Walnut store, and they found it in the middle of nowhere. It was very difficult to find, and when they went in, it's super tiny, but the ladies who run it were there, and that they put out the magazine and the whole thing, and Sophia was like, oh, my mom told me about you, and then I have corresponded with them since then, and they were both they're like, we remember those girls, we remember your daughter when she came in to see us 2 years ago, so that's really fun. But I really like their aesthetic, and I highly recommend it. Like I said, you can actually look this up on Ravelry. You don't need to buy the magazine. All of the patterns are available on Ravelry, and I think that they're probably on the front page right now because they're usually pretty popular. But they're beautiful, so I always like to recommend this when I get it. Super excited about that. What else has happened? We had a big storm last week. It's called a nor'easter. So if you live in New England, you know what that means. If you might not know if you live overseas or in Australia or even on the west part of the coast of this country, nor'easter is a term you always hear up here in the Northeast. And basically what that is when a storm comes up the coast and the wind direction is from the northeast. So Marblehead is a peninsula. We have the ocean really on 3 sides of us. We have it on the side of the causeway where the beach is, where you've seen video from the beach, and then we have it on the harbor side, which is right here, and then we also have it on the north side of Marblehead. I think Marblehead it's really a very tiny area. It's probably about, I want to say maybe 5 square miles. It's pretty small, compact. The ocean on 3 sides, so we're really sticking out there. So when the wind comes through, it really comes through. And our harbor is facing northeast. So when the wind is from the northeast, that means that the wind is coming straight in to the harbor, straight into Marblehead. There's nothing breaking. It's coming right in off of the ocean. And these storms usually will build up. This was a big one. There's all those horrible storms down in the south and in Florida. There were the tornadoes that were spawned, and this was the same one that came up here. It was not tornadic when it got here, and luckily it was not snow-filled for us. It was a little bit of snow inland, but for us it was a massive amount of rain and a massive amount of snow. I mean, a massive amount of wind. So we had wind gusts, 55, 60 miles an hour. Crazy wind, and especially when it comes right in the harbor. And when it does that, the waves build up like insane. And so that was the big thing. We weren't quite sure what the situation was going to be, how much we were going to be able to see, because the storm was kind of coming in at night, and when that happens, you may not see the good waves. But the next morning, there were still plenty of waves going on in the storm. It had slowed down a little bit, so it was still here. So my husband got to go down, and he took some videos and some pictures. I was very jealous because I had to go to work, and I wasn't going to be able to see the storm happening. But he went down and took some good videos of that, so that was pretty exciting. So that's a classic. It's a classic nor'easter when it comes up the coast, and the wind is from the northeast, because it just pounds in on the east coast of the United States. And when it gets up here, it's a classic New England storm, because we have so many harbors up here, harbors on the ocean, and harbors that are facing northeast. So really, it's a classic, and it's spelled it's north. The wind is northeast, so northeast is the wind direction. But the storm is called a nor'easter, so NOR''EASTER. So it's one of those old New England terms, but that's what this was this week, a classic nor'easter storm. So that was really fun, and my husband had all the fun with it. But I'll attach some videos so you can see some of the crazy waves that went on here at the end. What else? This was crazy. This is a crazy little story. I actually, as I had mentioned, I have to work a couple of nights, during the month. And this first time when I did it, we work till 6. We're basically a student service center, and we're open for students if they need to come in. At this time of the year, not that many students are coming in at night, so, you can kind of talk and, get to know your coworker a little bit. So, I was sitting with my coworker, and she works in the registrar's office, so she's not someone I talk to a lot. So it was kind of fun to be able to talk with her and find out a little bit more about her. But anyway, so we were talking, and she was talking to one of another colleague of ours about Japan, and it turns out that there is a Japanese school in Boston. It's a school. There's students. They must be college, maybe. I don't know enough about it. I have to look it up, but maybe either late high school or college students that are from Japan, and they come and they have dorms there, and they live there. They can take classes at other schools in Boston. I didn't even know this existed, but anyway. So this girl is actually she is an RA there, so she's a resident assistant at this school, and for that she lives there, so she has room and board by living at this school, and the responsibility of running a dorm, etc. So she has to be there at certain times and nights and weekends, etc. So, but it's for all Japanese students, and so I got talking, and I was like, really? And so she was telling me about it, and I said, my daughter's in Japan right now, and she's like, really? She is? And so we talked about that. I told her about Sophia, and all of a sudden she looked at me and she's like, wait. She said, you're Sophia's mom? And I'm like, she said, you lived in New York State? Do you live in Saratoga? And I was like, yes. She's like, oh my gosh. She said, I know your daughter. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. How random. Once again, how random is this? I've had random stories. Last time I had that random story. And it turns out that she is a relative of the father of a girl that Sophia went to high school with and graduated with. And this girl, Lauren, had a graduation party when they graduated, and this colleague of mine was at the graduation party, and Sophia was at the graduation party, and they met there, and randomly, they exchanged information, and they still are friends on Facebook. They're kind of like, Facebook, you get acquaintances, you have all these kind of random people that maybe you've met somewhere or have friended you for whatever reason, and you're not really friends, but you just kind of leave it up there. And both of them have left each other on there. She's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. And so, at that time, and I got on the phone, and I was like texting to Sophia, and I'm like, do you remember this girl? And she's like, oh my gosh, I do remember her. And she goes, I think we're still friends on Facebook. And I'm like, you are. So how random, how small is this world, and how random is that? It was so much fun to talk about that. I was like, whoa, that was very, 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 very coincidental, very, very random. So that was my fun random piece for this podcast. Maybe I'll have another one for the next podcast. We'll have to see. We will have to see. So anyway, I think that's all I have for today. the sun's kind of gone in. It's still a little cloudy. It's not raining or anything. It's actually not really that cold out today either. So I'm going to try to go out and take some more video, kind of give you a sense of what it looks like not in a snowstorm. So I'll kind of go to the same place I went during that snowstorm video for you last time. If you didn't see it, you can go back and see me all covered with snow and cold. Well, today I'll try to do the same thing, but show you what it looks like when it's not snowing. When it's not snowing here. So that's it. So thank you for joining me today, and I look forward to talking again. And remember, it's just knitting. Today, it's a lovely day. It's not too sunny, but it's not too cold. So let's go look and see what it looks like when it's not a snowstorm. Bye.